What is up, Star Wars Rebels fans? Welcome to the Star Wars Rebels After Show here on AfterBuzz TV, Season 3, episode anywhere from 14 through 16, depending on how you're counting, The Legacy of Mandalore. We'll be breaking down the episode and talking about what we think is coming in the near future right after the break.
You're tuning into the destination for TV superfan discussion, AfterBuzz TV. And now, let the buzz begin.
I would like to credit the wonderful Mark Donica for this music suggestion. You're probably all very confused.
This is the show you're looking for.
This is the show you're looking for.
It's not the Game of Thrones after show.
It is not the Game of Thrones after show. Game of Thrones is still just out there in limbo somewhere, but Star Wars Rebels is back.
Yes.
They had a little break, as they often do, sort of mid-season, and then, they came back, and I have to say, I think they came back pretty strong.
They came back punching, ready to fight, like full in it.
Totally. If you guys are watching on YouTube, thank you so much. We've got a live chat happening. We've got a hashtag happening, ABTV Rebels on Twitter if you want to talk to us there. But if you are watching on YouTube, remember, you can also listen to us on iTunes. You can subscribe, download, take us with you on the go. You can listen to us.
There's so many things you can do.
It's so true. You can walk your dog, you can do an art project, you can drive to work.
Wash your dishes.
You can
don't vacuum though.
build
That's
some
too
IKEA
loud.
furniture.
You can vacuum.
Not while you're listening to a podcast.
Yeah, if you have the headphones on.
That was a great point.
If you got some really, really good headphones, then you could maybe vacuum and listen at the same time. And again, if you are listening on iTunes, remember you can watch on YouTube as well, and we are streaming live. It's a whole lot of fun. You can see all of our beautiful faces as well as hearing our lovely voices talking about our love and appreciation of Star Wars Rebels. Allow me to introduce the wonderful panel that we have. Katie is out at Gallifrey 1 this evening, the Doctor Who convention here in Los Angeles.
Cool.
So, joining us, we have Michael Young.
Yeah.
What's up, guys?
Snaps.
Yo, thank you for having me. It's a lot of fun. I haven't been on this in a while, but you can find me on Twitter everywhere at OneYoungsta, which is OneYoungsta.
Megan Salinas.
Hey guys, you can tweet at me at the Menguin. That's TheMenguin.
Joelle Monique.
Hey guys, I'm Joelle Monique. I'm trying to join you live in the chat now so we can talk, but you can find me everywhere on the internet at Joelle Monique and every week at blackgirlnerds.com.
And I am Emma Fyffe. I can be found all over the internet wherever Emma Fyffes are sold at my name, Emma Fyffe. Now, okay, so I want to address Michael, because you so basically a couple days ago we were doing the Voltron after show, and I knew Katie wasn't going to be here, and I knew Michael was keeping up with Rebels, so I was like, oh my gosh, you should come join us on the show. And he was like, yeah, I'm kind of excited. I don't know. They often let me down. So can you explain this like mid-season theory to me?
Contextualize that,
My
please.
mid-series issue that I have with Rebels is they give you this trailer. They're like, hey, we're going to be coming back.
Oh, yeah.
We're going to be coming back in a couple of weeks. And they give you this trailer and you're like, oh my God, look at everything. And that stuff all happens in like the last 2 episodes.
Yeah, that's very true.
and you come back and like, oh yeah, got my popcorn, got my soda, I'm ready. And then it's like an episode about like Chopper hanging out in like an outpost somewhere.
Do you want to fight us? Because we love Chopper.
We do.
I love Chopper when he does things that move the story forward.
Yeah.
I don't like Chopper when he's just like, oh, let me go around the market. It's like I'm like,
There are down days in war. Sometimes all you did was go to the market day. Okay?
It's like, hey, you know what? Someone's got to get the groceries.
Yeah. Well, today was not one of those days. However, we did not go to the marketplace.
No.
We went to somewhere in Mandalore territory. They were not actually on Mandalore. They were on Cronest, which might be a moon of Mandalore.
Maybe.
It is on the outer rim of Mandalore. I did my Wikipedia research before we got in here. It's on the outer rings. That's why it's all snowy.
That makes sense. It's like the Hoth of Mandalore territory.
Yes.
Which is basically the planet where the Ren clan is in power. I found out a really interesting thing watching Rebels Recon. Dave Filoni said that Sabine's mother is the Ren, not her father. So her father took her mother's last name because in Mandalorian culture, you just take on the last name of like whichever family is more prominent.
Smart.
It's a good look. It's like, hold up, who's richer? okay, cool. We're going to go with your name.
Yeah, I'm really excited this isn't a patriarchal society because it's kind of
definitely not.
shown to us again and again through pretty much just in Rebels
Yeah.
of like, nope, there are so many badass women here on this planet kicking butt.
Super true.
And Contest
Yeah.
was no different.
Yeah, and I mean, even, looking back to things like Clone Wars, I mean, Duchess Satine was in power for
Yeah,
so
she
long,
was.
and
Yeah.
obviously, like, she was new Mandalorian, so she didn't subscribe to sort of the warrior culture way, but again, it was a woman
Rest
who
in
was
peace.
in charge. I
Yeah,
know.
it wasn't the
my
fact.
girl.
It wasn't the fact that she was a woman in power
No.
that was like the issue.
No.
They were just like, "What do you mean you don't want to fight everybody?
Yeah, they're
You're
like-
not
they're
gonna
like,
everyone
kill
wants to fight
them,
everyone."
So we're not killing anymore? Is that- we don't...
We don't
what
know
are we
how
gonna
to
do
do
with all these-
anything else.
What are we going to do with all these guns?
Exactly.
Come on, Satine, what are you doing?
What am I just gonna fly my jetpack around for recreation purposes?
It's like, well, gotta get to work.
They just put them all in a ship and shipped them off to Concordia. Like, go have fun fighting on one of the moons of Mandalore there. But yeah, so basically in this episode, we finally get to meet Sabine's family, who were,
Yes.
of course, who've been referenced time and time again, particularly her mother, both by good old, why am I totally blanking? Gar Saxon, obviously,
Yes.
but then also, help me out here, the Fen Rao.
Yes. Yeah, because
You got there. It was
I have
good.
so many Mandalorian names in my head right now.
there are a lot, and that's one of the reasons why we were making allusions to Game of Thrones earlier, is because them having their own territory on the Outer Rim and being a family of such like high honor, like it's one of those things where they put honor above all else, which is why Sabine was cast out in the first place. And so it's really interesting to see this person that we've been talking about, or in Sabine's case, not wanting to talk
Right.
about for a
Yeah.
long time, finally getting to see her, and getting to see her not just as a straight up bad guy or as a bad mother,
Right.
but as a complicated person.
As an
Yeah.
actual
In a very-
mother.
Yeah, who's in a
Yeah.
very tough
Her
position.
entrance was boss, too.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
was.
Like, how they filmed the way she came in, it was real nice.
Yeah.
I was like, ooh.
Yeah, I have
Mama
to.
Ray.
Yeah, I was very. Ursa Wren was not what I expected, but I also I can't quite quantify what I was expecting.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because I think, Megan, you hit the nail on the head where it's like, she's a very complicated person. And obviously, like, you're so mad when she's like, because basically she's like, all right, we're going to take Sabine into custody immediately and throw her in a jail cell as soon as she shows up.
Yeah.
And then she's like, oh, wait, you have the Darksaber? Never mind. Let me take that from you and betray you instead. Like,
Well,
Well, I
she
was definitely-
She was given the...
that
she
is,
was
to be
given
fair,
the
she
Darksaber.
was given the
You know,
Darksaber.
but
Now
she
that
gave
you've given it to
her-
me, that makes my job
Yeah,
easier.
she gave it to her with the idea that this could mend fences.
Yeah, absolutely. It was
Yeah.
definitely like a peace offering on Sabine's part, and her
Yeah.
mom instead. I mean, it was interesting because, we meet her brother also, Tristan, and he, like, immediately is, he's in the, like, Imperial sort of Mandalorian trooper
Like
armor.
a son.
Yeah.
First of all, that armor is everything to me. Like, I wouldn't want to be Mandalorian or an Imperial officer, but the combination of the white and gold outfits, I was like, yeah, this is
pretty
it.
cool.
This is boss. Like, I'm looking forward to your guys'
Oh
cosplay of that.
the Wren family like armor was amazing, and I also was reading a little bit about that like the idea was, it had like the edges of the gold to sort of suggest that, once this was a family that was like powerful and like full of, light and hope for Mandalore, but now just like everything's been sucked out of them.
Oh, all the color's been drained away.
Yes.
I wanted to comment on what you were saying earlier with Ursa Wren and what our expectations were. With Sabine, the way she talked about it, I was definitely expecting like a dictator-esque, like mommy dearest kind of moment of like,
wow.
no more wire hangers, how dare you? Like, kind of being up, and to see that she was just literally trying to balance being a leader and being a mother.
Yeah.
The line where she was like, look, all of Wren's people are dead, and mine are not, and I intend to keep it with you. I was like, oh, I get it
That
now.
makes so
I
much
totally understand. You have 1,000 lives to think about, not just Sabine. Copy.
Yeah.
It kind of made me like, it aged Sabine for me, because I think Sabine, especially compared to Ezra, has always been the older, kind of wiser, more advanced student.
Yeah.
To come back and see how she kind of viewed her own world and how she left it, I'm like, oh, you were really a child. You were really young when you had to go through all of this, and I really appreciated that character development.
Yeah, I totally agree with you on that. And I think for me, it was like, I thought that Ursa was going to be one of either extreme. One of either Sabine was totally wrong and she still like loves her and supports her, or she was just going to be like very cold dictator, and Sabine was going to have to perform some crazy tasks to get her mother on set, which I appreciated was not the case.
Yes.
Like, it was just like one battle that basically kind of turned everything around. A very cool battle.
So good.
Yeah.
It was good.
Yeah. So we find out that basically on Cronest, Gar Saxon is now like Governor Saxon. What is a governor's job in Star Wars?
In Star Wars?
Apparently it's to betray people on a moon so nobody sees it real quick.
I liken it to the not the slave master, but the guy in the field just making sure everybody is
Like
like
an overseer.
snitching on everybody.
That's-
Exactly. The governor's just kind of like hanging out, watching
Yes,
everything, and
this
occasionally
flag
calls
is
the Imperial
sufficiently
forces. He's like,
pressed. Yes.
He's
it's
like
getting bad out
$5
here.
snitch.
Yeah, it definitely feels to me, and it feels a little terrifyingly close to some stuff that's going on in the real world. Of like basically who like the Emperor, anybody of the higher up in the Galactic Empire is just allowed to be like, I like this man. He can be in charge of this thing.
You're the
Well,
governor now.
in the case of Governor Price, a woman, but you know what I mean.
But yeah, and that's, again, it's one of those things where it's like, where does their jurisdiction lie? Because clearly you're in charge of this planet, but you also get to, like, hang out in military conference rooms, like, if they like you enough, or I don't know, or you just sit and, I don't know. It's hard to tell what the duties
don't
of a
ask me
governor are.
questions.
Yeah.
Right, exactly. This does not concern you.
I feel like the interior sort of hierarchy of the Empire is not very sound.
What makes you say that?
They didn't have time to set that up. It was like the first galactic empire. Everybody's like, yeah, and then people were like, so what's the hierarchy?
Whose job is what?
It's like,
Basically,
you're in charge
you
of stuff.
just keep doing what you're doing, except now all the Jedi are dead, and now everybody has to listen to what I say. Okay.
Yep.
I'll give you a vanity position. You can be a governor. Oh, yes, thank you. What is that? What do governors do? Just tell me if anybody is like breaking rules.
Whole dinners,
Yeah.
parties,
Go to really, really fancy parties, and that's it.
set up a security system, and then we'll do the rest.
You can jail people, like switch powers out, and if you need to, you could kill somebody. Like try to keep it down low, but
Right.
we don't really care.
Right. Let's talk a little about the plot line with our two Jedi, Ezra and Kanan, and also Fen Rao, who it turns out is like pretty skilled in the like sneaky department.
Fen Rao is awesome.
I know.
He didn't tiptoe through
Fantastic.
that snow, though. He was just like,
I know.
word. He was like, she telling.
I was also like, I did also have a moment of being like, okay, that is incredibly bold that you were just sneaking around in your Mandalorian armor.
Yeah.
In bright blue amongst
Yeah.
all of that white, nonetheless. He's like, no, it's okay. I got light
Like,
feet.
It's fine.
Like you couldn't put on like a shirt and some pants instead and make it like a parka.
I was a little disappointed that we didn't get Chopper like sneaking with
I
him,
know.
or like I want to see what their relationship is like because Chopper has a very definite opinion of everybody, and we're not
He
quite
sure
sure where he
does.
sits with Fen yet.
That might have been why he was like, I don't have time to go grab a parka. I'll just risk it. Maybe he just couldn't stand being on the ship with Chopper for another minute. He was like, you know what?
Well, Chopper
I'm just
opened
gonna
the
go
door
out
for him
and-
and was like, "Let's go, Plan B." It is cool. We rarely get spy scenes
Yeah.
anymore, and I feel like sleuth and detectiveness is like my favorite thing about war. Like,
Yeah,
the
totally.
big battles are impressive, but
It's all
sneaking
that,
in to get
those
those
reconnaissance
sabers.
missions.
Yeah.
It was good Kanan
That
was
give you
there to
the
be
intel.
like, hang back, because we're probably going to need you.
Yeah.
Yes.
He was like, he came there like, they're going to screw us,
I
so
just-
hang back.
I mean, I really love Kanan in this like very supportive role that he's taken on amongst
Yes.
the group, especially
Yeah.
in this episode when they show up on Mandalore and Tristan and all his little like Imperial bros are like, okay, cool, we're gonna bring you to Mom, but you have to, the Jedi can come, but they have to surrender their weapons. Also, I had like a panic attack moment when they drew their lightsabers. I was like, yo, the Jedi killed a lot of Mandalorians.
There is no I was really mad at Ezra could not have survived the Clone Wars. Like,
No.
I'm really sorry. Ezra is just to me it's like be cool. It's just like I'm like bro, like
Yeah.
dude, like
Like,
they shot first. I'm like that's not what happened.
Yeah.
And I'm wondering is this a
Like,
compliment on
They
like Han shot
drew
first?
but you pulled your saber in because he doesn't know the
No.
real history
is
between
true.
Jedi and Mandalorians. he set off something. It's like, stay in the car.
Truly. Yes, figure out
stay
your lane.
your butt in the car and just wait.
Yeah.
But it's cool because he got
Let
a bunch
Dad
of
take
teaching
care of this
moments.
one.
Even with the sabers, when he was like, "We have to do what now?" And I'm like, "This literally happened like every other episode in Clone Wars. Like, you always have to give up your weapon. Like, be smart, bro. You've got so many other skills."
Yeah, and I'm surprised that they didn't do anything else because it's kind of one of those times when writers forget people's powers. It happens in all kinds of shows.
It does.
But it's like, so you took away their lightsabers, but
They can force
connected
push
to
you
the
they
walls.
all
can,
over the
literally
place.
pick you up and throw you up
Yeah,
against a
because
wall.
they drew their guns on them and they didn't have their lightsabers, but I was just like, yeah.
The only thing that I will say in defense of that, which I agree is a little bit of a plot hole, is that they clearly knew that Rao was like
Oh, yeah.
because like when he showed up and threw them the lightsabers, they're like, "Oh, it took you long enough." So that's the only thing I can say.
I
in defense
really
of that.
appreciate Kanan, giving them the benefit of the doubt, being like, look, we're going to come in here and play nice, and hopefully we can win them over.
Yeah.
But, it's one of those things where you hope for the best, but you prepare for the worst. And I love that that's the way they approach the situation.
Yeah,
Definitely.
it's super true, and it just kind of, I don't know, I'm really enjoying that now that Kanan has like actually had one of his like senses taken away from him, that he's actually like grown so much as a mentor
he has.
character. And he's like, I would want to be a Padawan to Kanan. Like, I feel like he's a great master.
He's so patient with
Yes,
Ezra.
he's so
I think I'd be yelling at
patient.
Ezra all the time. Even though I would love him, I would be like, "Oh my God, you never listen, ever. You're always just charging into danger. Things are like, it's not safe out here." But he's just like, "Calm down.
Yep.
It's gonna be
Yeah,
okay. We've got
He
it."
went from
do
being
this.
the cowboy. He went from being the cowboy Jedi to being a samurai Jedi.
Yeah,
Which is really cool.
yeah, it's really, it
Like
really
a
is.
very reserved, almost very in control at all times.
Yeah.
Like, even when he's like, "Oh, just give him our lightsabers. It's fine. We're Jedi."
Yeah.
But he was, correct me if I'm wrong, he was trained by Luminar and Dolly, right? Mm-hmm. This makes absolute sense to me. The fact that he's slowly maturing into her mentality of like, look, we just gotta be calm. It's gonna be fine. We're gonna get through it. I know. I watched her episodes on Clone Wars the other day, and I was like, "Come back to me." She was my favorite.
So sad. But anyway, let's talk a little about this battle because it was freaking awesome.
Yes.
So basically, Sabine's mom contacts Gar Saxon and is
Girl.
like, "Yo, I got the dark
Tell
saber.
him.
I'm gonna give it to you. Just like leave my family alone." And then Gar Saxon shows up and is like, "Oh, gee, thanks
Psych.
so much. Super psych. I'm gonna kill your whole family because you've been consorting with traitors, aka your daughter."
Yeah.
He's a harboring rebels. They landed. I called you. Like, where's the harboring time?
She called him maybe like an hour after
Like,
they
max.
left. Like,
Max.
They hadn't been there, but he just needed an excuse to get rid of them.
Exactly. This was like classic I'm altering the deal situation.
I pray I don't alter it any further.
Absolutely. So yeah, and then Saxon offers Tristan the opportunity to like side with him if he'll betray his family. Obviously, he doesn't.
Although there was a moment where I was like, "No, Tristan, no!"
Yeah.
But then he was like, "Psych, family." It was
I
amazing.
really loved what his character sort of went through in this episode, because you can tell both he and his mother love Sabine, but there's a complicated situation going on, and he's like, "I'm not mad that you left. I'm mad that everything fell apart after you did, and no one was here to take care of it, that sort of thing, and we had to deal with what was left behind."
I thought that was really important, the sparring scene. I was like, because Sabine, we've never seen her take responsibility for what happened, like, other than the guns, where she was like, "I didn't know they would use my weapons like that," and that's obviously something she regrets. But as far as like what you put your family through, like, you've had a really long fall from grace. So I was excited to see not only that the conversation happened, but how Sabine took it, where she was kind of just like, Yup. Did it.
Yep.
Real sorry. But now she's taking responsibility, so it's really exciting.
I got distracted. I had like, when you said Lumina, I was like, was it? It was not.
Oh, no.
It was Depa Bilaba.
Okay.
Yeah. I was like, no, I can picture her hairstyle. It's like the braids that go around. Anyway, that was my little correction. Apologies to anybody that was like freaking out in the chat or was listening. And they're like, you're wrong.
Actually.
I'm sorry, guys. There's a lot of names decent people in Star Wars, believe it or not. But yeah, and then I thought it was so interesting. I didn't think Gar Saxon was gonna die.
I love that he did.
I know.
I feel like Sabine was kind of cheated out of that moment. I don't know why.
You wanted her to
Let's talk about it.
decapitate him?
Let's talk about it because
Just
the
so you
audience
guys
feels
know.
the same way.
Anakin.
The chat is with you, Michael. The chat felt the same
For
way.
you guys that watch Jedi Alliance, my team is Hera, Kanan, Sabine. I'm not too hot on anyone else, I'll be honest. So
Anyone else? There's so many.
No other characters in Star
I
Wars.
would have loved no one else. No one, I don't care. But on that show, I'm not too hot on anyone else. But I would have loved if she just got the upper hand, boom, and walked away, and you saw like similar to how Darth Maul did it. But at the same time, Darth Maul is also a Sith user. So
Yeah.
but I feel like she won, but she like her brother kind of took a little bit of.
Her mom did the final shot,
Yeah,
right?
her mom got the final shot.
I feel like she kind of stole it.
Listen, you
Well,
know,
here's the... Okay, sorry.
I was gonna say I understand what you're saying, but I also think it was really important to have her mom be the one to do it because her mom was the one who was more directly betrayed by Saxon, whom she trusted.
Okay.
And Saxon immediately turned on her and was like, I'm going to kill all your people that you have been making all of these horrible sacrifices for and doing all these things you really don't believe in order to preserve their well-being.
Well, I want to double down on that and say that Sabine has now declared herself not a Mandalorian. She's like, these are Mandalorian principles, but they're not mine. I'm not a killer. I don't want to be. And then she even says at the end, like, I am not the leader, but I'm going to find the leader. And I think that
She's
her
gonna
not
be the leader.
killing him was the most important aspect.
Well,
I don't think
she'll
she
be the
will
leader.
be. I want to see her
she's-
back in space.
I think she should be the leader. I think, like, yo, she's got it. Like, yo, you've got the touch. She's got it.
I kind of agree with you because the problem with the Duchess Satine was that she was too pacifist, if that makes any sense.
Yes,
that
it
she
does.
alienated the warrior culture, whereas somebody like Gar Saxon is obviously he's just in it for himself, and it doesn't matter who dies, you know, in the process. She is kind of that perfect middle ground of, you know, being a warrior, but also still very much respecting life and respecting, you know, things outside of Mandalore. So she actually would kind of fit the bill to be like, you know, to appease the warrior side of Mandalore, but also be what Mandalore could have been when they were
When they have the new
embracing
Mandalorian.
Yeah.
It'll be interesting to see if she does that. Star Wars doesn't often thrust power on people who aren't seeking it. Like, a lot of people in Star Wars are actively seeking power and then trying to weigh the good and the bad of the decisions they have to make. But it would be interesting in that world to see somebody who, like, where they're like, no, it's got
powers
to be you.
thrust upon them.
Yeah.
I think this is an opportune moment to roll into some predictions
Yes.
before we wrap things up
yes.
here.
AfterBuzz TV predictions.
So to speak to that whole, we don't know. So obviously, like, Sabine decides that she's going to stay on Mandalore. As devastated as I am to not have Sabine be with the crew of the Ghost, there was, in my opinion, no other way this episode could have ended. You know, because she's been running away from her past for so long that now, like, she's embracing her responsibility. And obviously, like, she has put sort of this quest upon herself to find who the next leader of the Mandalorians is going to be. I sort of think maybe it'll be Bo-Katan.
Okay.
Because she was Duchess Satine's sister.
Yeah.
And I believe that Katie Sackhoff said that she is coming back. You know, feel free to be like, no, Emma, you're totally wrong, but I feel like maybe
I think she did make a statement about saying she's coming back to do a
Yeah.
couple scenes
Prediction
or something like
/
that.
news and
yeah,
gossip.
prediction / news and gossip. So I sort of maybe think that would be kind of great.
That would be dope.
Yeah.
Especially to see how
For that.
she's aged and what her new...
Yeah.
I feel like after her sister died, maybe her political alliances or opinions
That's what I'm
shifted
saying
up.
is I feel like she lives in that same sort of not pacifist but not crazy warrior territory as Sabine does, because she, again, like, she helped Obi-Wan escape to try to save her sister.
Yeah.
So,
And she's had to live with that guilt for however long it's been
Yeah,
since that time.
because she could have enacted, like, you know, a rescue way sooner.
Way sooner.
Totally.
You know, you had time
You know,
to think
she could
about
have
that.
not deposed her sister in the first
True,
place.
true.
that's also a great option.
I would like to see her go back. Hopefully, and of course, I'm not writing the show, but it would be cool to see them kind of like amass, some power, get some unity, and fight the Imperial presence off of them.
Yeah.
And something completely unrelated to what Kanan, Hera, everyone else
And
is
give
doing.
this character a little bit of redemption, too.
Yeah.
Predictions for next episode. One, I really look forward to seeing Hera's reaction to the fact that Sabine decides to stay behind. Their relationship is so close, and there's so
really
much
is.
love, mother-daughter, like, relationship vibes between them. Sleuth Figgins earlier today in the chat said, Maury, who's the father? And I have the same question. Who is Sabine's father? What's he up to? What does being a prisoner but not called a prisoner look like for Mandalorians right now? Especially now that they kill, names. Who do they kill at the end of this episode?
Gar Saxon.
Thank you. Now that Gar Saxon's dead, is Daddy in like twice as much trouble?
Yeah, this is like a very Sansa Stark situation.
Yes.
Well, the cool thing is, since he got killed on their moon and everybody with him got killed, you get to control this story. I'm not saying be Palpatine with it, but I'm just saying you
have a little bit of control over the narrative.
Control how this is told.
And also, I don't know if you guys saw the preview for the next episode, but it's called Through Imperial Eyes, and the entire thing was FPV cam from Agent Callus's point of view.
Yes!
I am stoked. I love Agent Callus. I really hope he lives beyond this next episode.
Don't kill Callus.
But I
I
don't-
need him.
Please put Cron in this episode, and please just give us what you told us you were going to give us in the trailer. Just give us that.
He's coming back. He's coming back. Don't worry. And I really think he's going to last more than one season. But alas, we are running short on time here. I want to give a couple of shout outs to everyone who left us reviews on iTunes. We've got these are all 5 stars. One from Mitchell Whitmer. I love AfterBuzz. Also Prodigal 358. Clancy Brown loves playing Ryder because Clancy Brown is also playing a character named Ryder in the upcoming Mass Effect Andromeda. So I guess he just likes playing guys named Ryder who cruise around in outer space.
Why wouldn't you?
Exactly. So thank you so much for tuning in, guys. Again, sometimes Bob's Burgers isn't right after this, so we will have the full hour, but sometimes we will only have a half hour. This is one of those half-hour days. So thank you for tuning in to the Star Wars Rebels After Show. Michael, thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
You were
for
great.
having
It's
me.
always a pleasure having you on the
was
show.
fun. It was fun.
Where can people find you on the internet?
You can find me Twitter, Facebook, Instagram at Oneyungsta, which is ONEYOUNGSTA.
Megan Salinas.
You guys can tweet at me at the Menguin. That's TheMenguin.
Joelle Monique.
Hey guys, I'm Joelle Monique. You find me all over the internet at Joelle Monique every week at Black Girl Nerds, and here Wednesdays doing thing, The Magicians, and then at Book Circle Online talking about comics on Comic Book Exchange.
And I am Emma Fyffe. I can be found all over the internet at my name, Emma Fyffe, EMMAFYFFE. Stick around. Literally, I am also on the Bob's Burgers After Show, which is about to start, so I need to end this show so you can enjoy that one as well.
Watch that one.
Also, if you guys like Star Wars, which obviously you do because you're watching this after show, every Friday night at 9:00 p.m. Pacific time on Hyper RPG's Twitch channel, that is twitch.tv/hyperrpg. I am playing an edition of Edge of the Empire, which is a Star Wars role-playing game from Fantasy Flight. Our show is called Pencils and Parsecs. It is a lot of fun. I play a Mandalorian on it, so yeah, but she's like new Mandalorian. She's kind of like Sabine in that like she doesn't really identify. It's really fun and interesting. She's got some crazy backstory that started coming out last week, so tune into that. It's really fun. Thank you guys again so much for joining us. We will be back same time, same place next week, 8:00 p.m. Pacific, here doing the Star Wars Rebels After Show on AfterBuzz TV, and we will see you guys then. Bye.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
May the Force be with you.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.